Yeah, not gonna lie, I have no idea how to open this video. I'm gonna go through the twist OP and point out interesting details. Obviously, we aren't gonna go through the entire thing frame by frame, but we are gonna be looking at a couple moments and just spitball ideas. This is more of a, that's interesting video rather than a theory video, just as a heads up. So the first thing I want to look at is the sequence of frames. So each mirror has the emblem of the dorms. What I think is interesting that in this circle of mirrors, there's actually an 8th mirror, which is the one Crowley is standing in front of. I feel a bit conflicted because, like, part of me wonders if this represents Ramshackle, but then he also travels through it, so it might just be a portal. I don't know, but it makes me wonder. We have the frame of all these contracts, and partially hidden under one is a picture of chubby baby Azul. People love Azul, so I figured I'd point that out. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but I don't think there's any meaning beyond foreshadowing, but I just figured people would like to see Azul. I did try to blow it up and figure out what it said, but for the most part, I wasn't able to get it clean enough to easily read. There are some parts that are easier to read than others, and from what I can gather, it's just a bunch of legal jargon like, you know, the other party from this point on, like, you, or, you know, like, stuff like that. I do think it's interesting, though, that one bit says English language, which I guess means they're speaking English is fully canon. For people who don't know, every single year, Twist does a merch line where it's like Valentine's Day / White Day merch, where you can get an item and a message card from a character. Obviously, this is Japan only, unless you're using a proxy like I do. And, the first year this happened, the fandom woke up to the Japanese side of the fandom trying to find EN to JP translators because all the message cards were in English. I think most of us just joked about the situation since you know how the turntables. But I guess Azul's contracts kind of confirmed that, yeah, they're all speaking English. This frame is the same in the Japanese version, in case you were wondering. This was not touched at all for EN, so this is like the exact same thing in both versions of the game. Alright, next frame. I think this is the most famous when it comes to freeze frame bonuses, but you can see the shadow of Overblood Azul if you go through this frame by frame. So we're at a part where it's a bunch of flashing images, so I want to go over each section and image in this sequence. First up, we have a bookshelf and a book on a table. I cannot for the life of me figure out where this is supposed to take place. I would guess the library, or maybe someone's personal study, but I haven't been able to find a matching location with the background art. Next up, we have a close-up of Grimm here. It's actually his promo art. I don't think that's important, but the fact that I immediately recognized it as the promo art means I've spent way too much time with this game. Spilled ink. Also, that's kind of it. I tried brightening up the image and I couldn't find anything hidden in the ink, so I think it's just ink. Is it blot ink? Is it regular ink? I don't know. Also, hidden Mickey. Night Raven College, that's it. That's the tweet. Okay, now we're at what I consider the good stuff. So this is another close-up shot, but of Crowley. If you look closely behind him, you'll see he's in the Pumphiori Lounge in front of the throne. Honestly, Crowley has a lot of weird connections to Snow White, so I guess this shouldn't be surprising, but it begs the question of, like, what's he doing there? His job? Now, we see a bitten apple on the floor. We're still in the Pumphiori Lounge, as the rug and furniture is the same in the background art. Also, if you look at the background, like at that back wall, even though it's shaded by blue because it's supposed to be dark over there, like it's clearly supposed to be a white wall with gold trim, which also matches the Pumphiori Lounge. Now, earlier in the OP, we actually saw Apple pick up an apple that had fallen on the ground. In true crazy person fashion, I tried to figure out if it was the same apple based on appearances, and surprised I couldn't figure it out. Narratively, I would assume it's the same apple, but honestly, I don't know. But I think it's interesting that 1, Apple was shown picking up an apple earlier, 2, we now see a bitten apple on the ground of the Pumphiori Lounge, and 3, Crowley's in the lounge. Are these all connected? I kinda think so, but again, I don't really have any much evidence outside of just, it's a hunch, you know? Again, this is not a theory video, we are just saying, ooh, that's neat, every couple minutes. Next, we have a spinning wheel covered in thorns. I'm not 100% sure where this is. The brick color makes me think Diasomnia, as does the whole spinning wheel thing, but I think basing location just off of a color is a bit of a stretch, and I'd rather have more solid proof, like with the Pumphiori Lounge stuff. Okay, so this is a transition, and like, that's feathers, right? That's totally feathers in the transition. I'm not crazy. I mean, not crazy for thinking that. I know I'm crazy in general. But that transition looks like feathers. Is it Crowley? Is it some other bird? I have no idea, but it's a weird detail and a weird transition shape if it's not feathers. This isn't actually a frame, but rather a sequence. Crowley can turn into a bird, I guess. I can't say I'm really surprised, but I do wonder if that's his unique magic like Jack's or just something he can do. I mean, I have my conspiracy theories on what Crowley is, and one of them is just a bird that's transformed into a human, but that's a discussion for another day. So it's time for our final interesting thing in the video for me. This looks like someone crossing the screen while a bird, presumably Crowley, flies away. I could be wrong, maybe it's just like a curtain closing, I don't know. It looks like someone walking to me. So, again, I could be wrong, but it makes me wonder that if I'm right, does this mean that Crowley isn't working alone in whatever the hell he's doing? Is Crowley just the servant to a stronger mage that's the real villain? Or is this a henchman to Crowley? Or is this just a transition and I'm thinking too much about it? The transition out of Deisomnia admittedly seems clearer to me, but I just can't help but wonder about it. Something about it just kind of strikes me, you know? I'm sure there's some details I've missed in the OP, but these are the ones that I've noticed and thought were interesting. If there's any details that I missed that you guys found interesting, let me know. And with that, I'll see y'all later. Bye!